but for life. Ma'am also stated that in the 21st century, education isn't just about passing exams, but about preparing students for challenges of life. Lastly, I would like to conclude Professor Anuja Brahma ma'am's session on NEP 2020 highlighted the potential of the policy to transform the educational landscape in India. To conclude about the first session, I would like to quote that NEP 2020 is not just a policy change, but a revolution in education, shifting the focus from rote learning to developing the skills and competencies needed for tomorrow's world. Lastly, I would like to express my gratitude to UGC MMTTC and Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University, Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, roll number 36.
Yes, madam. I am audible, madam.
Yes, sir. You are audible, sir.
So रोल नंबर 36 तो कंक्लूड कीजिए क्योंकि रिसर्च पर्सन भी ज्वाइन हो चुके हैं. अब शॉर्ट में समरी रिपोर्ट कीजिए सर.
Yes, sir. Good morning, everyone. Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University, UGC Mahavir Mission Teacher Training Center, Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar. Ongoing refresher in research, teacher learning outcome and education reform. Summary report of National Education Policy 2020, transforming teaching and learning outcome by resource person, respected Ms. Anuja Brahma Madam. Presented by myself, Dr. Bharat Usare, roll number 36. Madam focus the main major core factor of the policy education NEP 2020, that is the madam says that the teacher training program is very important in NEP 2020. To train the teacher, curriculum design and lesson planning align with the competency. Teacher use active student-centric learning method to prepare teacher for facilitator and mentor instead the traditional lecture. For the teacher, orientation and foundation course for the important for teacher development. Curriculum mapping and developing competency-based lesson plan and develop student-centered pedagogical approaches. Expected outcome from NEP 2020, teacher become facilitator and mentor to the learning process. Competency-based lesson plan and assessment designed by teacher and student engagement and mastery of the competency. The second factor of madam says that curriculum revision is very important in NEP 2020 or the CBE. In competency-based education, curriculum revisions means updating course, teaching method, and assessment so that learning is organized around the competency like skill, knowledge, attitude. The key feature of the curriculum revision is competency identification, learning outcome, learner-centered approach, curriculum structure, teaching method, and assessment. Madam says that analysis difference between transitional curriculum and CBE curriculum. Transitional curriculum focus on the content coverage one way, but the CBE curriculum focus on competencies and mastery. In transitional curriculum, time bounded, but the CBE curriculum is flexible for pacing. Traditional curriculum exam test only depend on memory, but the CBE curriculum or the exam depend on assessment test, performance, and application. And the third one is use of technology is very important for the competency-based education. Technology play a very important role in making the learning personalization, flexible, and outcome. Flexible learning like means the learning management system, awareness like a module, Google Classroom, and Canvas support to competency tracking to student, and student can be learn anytime, anywhere through the online modules. Then the impact of the CBE on learning outcome. Madam says that CBE positively impacts learning outcome by the ensuring mastery, personalization, skill application, and employability. The shift focus on time spent in class to actual learning achievement. Then Madam says that Regency of Asian Indian Multidisciplinary Education, Asian Indian Multidisciplinary Education in the Gurukulas and universities like Takshashila and Nalanda was the multidisciplinary. In short, the Regency of Asian Indian Multidisciplinary Education lies and its universalization, holistic approach, and intellectual freedom and integration to the diverse fields of the knowledge. A vision of learning that remains highly relevant to even today. The last three, Madam said that NEP 2020 vision for the multidisciplinary education, that is the NEP aim to prepare global citizens with the multidisciplinary skill, blending knowledge, value creativity, and innovation for the sustainable future while rooted in Indian culture and value prepare students for the 21st century for the workplace. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Now, resource person is joined. Roll number 37. Are you
Yes,
there?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Please introduce our resource person, ma'am.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. It is my privilege to introduce today's distinguished resource person, Professor Timir Tripathi, Professor of Molecular Biology at the Department of Zoology, Northeastern Hill University, Shillong. Professor Tripathi is an eminent researcher whose work focuses on protein interaction, neurodegenerative diseases, and drug discovery. He has over 150 publications, authored and edited several books, and successfully led research projects funded by national and international agencies. He has been recognized with numerous prestigious awards, including the INSA Distinguished Lecture Fellowships 2025 and the NASI Professor B.K. Bachawat Memorial Young Scientist Award. He is also Fellow of the Royal Society of Chemistry and the Royal Society of Biology UK. Currently, Professor Tripathi serves on the editorial boards of several reputed international journal, including as senior editor of Critical Insight in Biophysics and editor of the International Journal of the Biological Micromolecules. We are honored to have him with us today to share his insight, and I now warmly invite him to begin the session. Thank you.
Okay. So I'll share my slides first, and please let me know if it is visible. Can you see the slides?
Yes, sir.
And can you see the transition?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Before starting, I would like to thank UGC MMTTC of Baba Saheb Ambedkar Marathwada University for inviting me to deliver these lectures. Professor Mahajan, Dr. Rafe, thank you so much for this kind invitation. So today I will be talking about two topics in the next two sessions. The first session I will be talking about the role of R&D cell in the framework of NEP 2020. And in the second session, I will be talking about internationalization of higher education and cross-border education. So this all comes under the transformation of higher education landscape in India, which is now going on under the pretext of NEP 2020. So let me start this session with the first topic, that is the role of R&D cell in the framework of NEP 2020. As you all know, the National Education Policy 2020 envisages the promotion of quality research within higher educational institutes. And it has focused that R&D is an important aspect to enhance quality education in the HEIs. The societal challenges that we face in our country can only be addressed by having a strong and vibrant higher education ecosystem, which emphasize research, innovation, technology, and development. So integrating research, innovation, technology, development is also the foundation of Atmanirbhar Bharat, that we call as self-reliant India. And the development of the R&D cell that we call in short form, the full form is Research and Development Cell in the HEIs, will enable the attainment of the targets of Atmanirbhar Bharat and is expected to play a key role in catalyzing the multidisciplinary or transdisciplinary and translational research culture, which is mandated in NAP 2020. So today in this lecture, we will be discussing about this topic in detail in next 1.5 hours or so. So as you all know, knowledge creation and research, these are critical to growing economies and to sustain the large and vibrant economy, also to uplift society and to continuously inspiring a nation to achieve even greater heights. If you remember some of the most prosperous civilization throughout history, starting from the ancient times like India, Mesopotamia, Egypt, China, Greece, to the modern era, that is the, say, United States, Germany, Israel, South Korea, Japan. These all are built on strong knowledge societies. They attained their intellectual as well as material wealth through notable and fundamental contribution to new knowledge. And this knowledge was not only in the field of science or mathematics, it was in the realm of art, language, culture, and social sciences also. So this enhanced and uplifted not only their civilization, but also those around the world. So keeping in mind, the NAP 2020 has placed a strong emphasis on catalyzing and energizing research, development, and innovation across the country in all academic disciplines. So at present, a robust ecosystem of research is perhaps more critical than ever, with the rapid changes in that is occurring in the world today. So that is in the time of climate change, the population dynamics and management, biotechnology is booming, digital marketplace is expanding, and the last few years has seen the rise of machine learning and artificial intelligence. So for India to be, in fact, to emerge as a front runner in this domain and harness the full potential of its extensive talent pool to reclaim its stature as the leading knowledge society, the nation must significantly enhance its research capability and output across various disciplines. So the societal challenges that we see today, including the access at certain places, the access of drinking water and sanitation, quality education and healthcare, improved transportation, air quality, energy, infrastructure, all these demand the implementation of new approaches, novel approaches. So facing and addressing these challenges will require high quality interdisciplinary research across various fields. So research in art and humanities, along with the innovation in the sciences, in social sciences, are therefore very vital for the progress and enlightened nature of the nation. In fact, research and development R&D has never been more essential for a nation's economic, intellectual, societal, environmental, and technological health and progress. So right now, what is the situation of R&D in higher education? So R&D and innovation in Indian higher educational institute, and when I say HEIs, higher educational institute, that includes the centrally funded universities, the state universities, private universities, IITs, ISERs, IIMs, NIPER, NICER, and all institute which provides learning for higher education. So evidence, if you see from the world's best universities, it shows that best teaching and learning processes at the higher education level, it occurs at environment where there is a strong culture of research and knowledge creation. Conversely, much of the best research in the world has happened in multidisciplinary university settings. So in India, if we talk about, we always feel like it has been built up in our mind that research is for institution and universities are meant for teaching. However, if you go across the world, the best research institutions are the universities, starting from Harvard to Rockefeller to Cambridge and Oxford. These are all universities which has performed the top quality research, and they have contributed to the growth of the nation. This we have to bring to India also. The culture of research, the culture of innovation within the university framework. However, despite this importance, the research and innovation in investment in India has been only around 0.69% of the GDP. You can see it is just 0.69% of the GDP. To compare with this, the investment in some developed countries, say in US, it is around 2.8%. In China, it is around 2.1%. In Israel, it is around 4.1%. In South Korea, it is around 4.2% of the total GDP. That
Yes,
is, all these
Hassan
countries.
Go ahead. Mo.
Can you please be quiet? Okay. So all these countries, they invest at least 3 to 4 times as much as the proportion of GDP that India is right now contributing. So the National Education Policy 2020 focuses on more significant investment in research and coordinated efforts from all institutions to place India in a better place in global knowledge production. So on 28th of June 2023, couple of years back, the Union Cabinet, they have approved the Anusandhan National Research Foundation Bill in Parliament. And this approved bill has paved the way to establish NRF, and ANRF has already been established. Now, it is now trying to seed, grow and promote R&D and promote a culture of research and innovation across Indian universities, Indian colleges, institution and R&D laboratory. To start with, for the first 5 years, a total amount of 50,000 crore has been allocated, say from 2023 to 2028 to NRF. to provide high-level strategic direction of scientific research in the country. So the NRF is expect to plan to have the following 4 roles. It will fund competitive peer-reviewed grant proposals of all types across all disciplines. So already ANRF website is working. There have been calls. Sometime back there was ARG call which was going on. ARG is Advanced Research Grant Call. Before that, in last year, November, there was a ECRG, Early Career Research Grant. Now there is Anusandhan NRF Research Professor, as well as NPDF grant, which is going. So there are multiple grants that ANRF is now giving. However, it is still going because it is in the nascent stage of development. So it will seed, grow, and facilitate research at academic institutions, particularly at universities and colleges, where research is currently at the nascent stage. And it will give also fund to mentor these institutions. So for example, right now there is a call for ANRF professorship. So this is for retired professor who have retired from very established institute, say ISC and IITs. The state universities, the colleges, they can recruit those professors under this scheme, so that those professors will go to the state universities, will go to college, and they will help establish better research facility in that particular college and universities. The ANRF will also act as a liaison between researchers and relevant branches of government and industries, so that researchers are constantly made aware of the most national research issues. Just a second, I'm getting a very important call. Hello. Sir. Sir, हाँ, sir, हमने बना लिया. I'll give you, sir. Right now, I'm giving a I'm giving you, sir. I'm sending, sir. Okay. I'm really sorry. That was the head of the department. He required some document. So it will act as a liaison between researchers and relevant branches of government and industry, so that researchers are constantly aware of the most urgent requirement based on the national needs, and also the policymakers are constantly aware of the latest technology or research breakthrough that is happening in the research direction in the country, so that it can be optimally brought into policy or in implementation. One major focus of ANRF is also to recognize outstanding research and progress, to appreciate those who are doing good research. ANRF is also planning to develop some criteria for them. So the NEP 2020 has clearly outlined the requirements of collaboration between institutions of research, the requirement of the economic growth engines, say, such as the industries and various social sectors, and response of research to meet those requirements. It has also outlined the interaction between the institutional research output and policy making processes, thereby optimizing the policy implication of academic research. They have outlined making researchers more responsible and more responsive to the people through the relevant government and non-government agencies, because we are utilizing public funds, and recognizing the responsive and responsible research through continuous reviewing, funding, and award processes. So all this, the National Education Policy 2020 has established for ANRF and research output. Now, to do all this, the UGC launched an initiative to establish a research and development cell that we called as R&D cell in all higher education institute, with a mandate to promote quality research that contributes meaningfully towards the goal of Atmanirbhar Bharat, which is again aligned in the provisions of NEP 2020. So the R&D cell will help to create a research ecosystem for reliable research, impactful research, sustained research output, and the essential elements of such an ecosystem that are the generation of knowledge, the facilitation of research and innovation, and technological development for industrial and societal benefits. They are addressed by multiple pillars like human resource. What are the human resource? The researchers and faculties. Intellectual capital, that is the knowledge and skill that will develop. Governance, the regulation of the process and the policies. And fourth, the financial resources, that is the funding and the grants. So now let us discuss about this R&D cell in detail. So the vision of the R&D cell is to put a robust mechanism for developing and strengthening the research ecosystem within higher educational institute, aligned with the provisions of NEP 2020. There are three missions of this R&D cell: to create a conducive environment for research, to encourage collaboration across industry, government, community-based organization, and agencies at the local, national, as well as international levels, and to facilitate greater access to research through mobilization of resources and funding. So to carry out this, there have been 8 objectives that has been outlined by the UGC to fulfill the norms and objectives of the R&D cell. So the first objective is to create an organizational structure. That is how actually R&D cell will work. We will discuss on that. Then formulate research policy for the higher education institute. Identify thrust areas of research. Say a university cannot do research in excellent research in each and every subject, in each and every field. The university will do gap analysis and identify the thrust area where it is strong, and then focus on those thrust area. Form related cluster group or frontline teams and consortia of researchers. So if there is any universities, maybe there are certain researchers, certain facilities are there. But if there is a cluster of institutions nearby, they can join together and they can share their facilities, their researchers. They can form consortia to do better research. To create enabling provisions in research policies for recruitment of research personnel, how these research personnel will be recruited, procurement of equipment, financial management, and adequate autonomy to the PIs, as well as disseminate research outcome to stakeholder and the public at large. So already the Ministry of Education, they have provided new guidelines a couple of months back for procurement of instrument, procurement of consumables, that is not through GEM direct purchase. So they are trying to streamline the process. Not only this, say in ANRF, the National Research Foundation has now what it has done? It has kept two heads. So earlier, when the say SERB or ICSSR or DBT or DST, they used to fund research. They used to give grant in multiple heads, say a non-recurring, that is for equipments, and then consumable, contingency, travel, overheads, and so on and so forth. But now ANRF, what it has done, that it will give head under two heads, recurring and non-recurring. Under recurring head, you can purchase instruments. Under non-recurring head, you can purchase instrument. Under recurring head, you are free to use as per your requirement. If you want to recruit research personnel, or you want some extra amount to purchase for chemicals or some travel extra. So that is more autonomy and freedom has been given to the principal investigator. Not only this, there are funds which is now being given under ANRF for international travel. Along with that, they are giving funds for APCs, the Journal Article Processing Charges. So the government has realized, and ANRF is giving that fund. And what all this is making a research environment which is more conducive to do research. Earlier, making the utilization certificate, statement of expenditure, these are very tedious jobs because there are multiple heads. Now there will be two heads under ANRF, recurring and non-recurring. And that will be much easier for the PIs to work with. The third objective is to establish a special purpose vehicle to promote researchers and innovators, to identify potential collaborators from industry, research organization, academic institute for cooperation and synergistic partnership. So now they are developing a database where once you are performing your research and you come up with some product or some patent or some ideas, the complementary requirement, which is from industry, they can look out that these type of research is going on in this university and they have developed this product, and they both can be linked so that synergistic partnership can be developed. Another objective is to be a liaison to extend guidance in the preparation and submission of project proposal and post-sanctioning of the grants to oversee adherence to timelines. Right now, we have all seen this big issue that we get, once we submit the UCSC in May or June, we don't get the money for the next year release. Many of the times we get money for the next year release in the next year, say February or early March. And we are said to complete within 31st March, otherwise the fund will lapse. So now they have established a timeline that within this timeline, things has to happen. Let me give you one example. Last year in November, there was a call for early career research grant. In December, the committee was made. January, the committee sat and finalized all the proposal. And February, within 3 months, the funds were released to the selected projects. Earlier, it used to take 1 year, 1.5 years, sometimes even 2 years. I have also faced that. But now within 3 months, the fund is getting released after the submission of research project, this is something that ANRF is changing as a system to promote the research. Timeline are very important. Already the ARG grant was the last date was I think early July, and now it is August, and things are almost getting finalized within 2 months. In 1 more month, that will be also finalized. This is what researchers want. Researchers do not want that after submitting the project, we have to wait for 1.5 years for approval. And then again, 6 months, 1 year for getting funds. By that time, maybe some other people will do that particular objective that you have proposed in that research. So now ANRF is trying to change that scenario. It is trying to develop a timeline that is more corporate than the usual government way of doing things. So the next objective is to develop better coordination among other cells, centers, linkage, incubation center, innovation and entrepreneurship development and centers, and IPR cells. So right now, IPR cell does not know what entrepreneurship development cell is doing, or the incubation center, what is it is doing, or the IIC, the Institutional Innovation Center, what it is doing. They are not linked to each other. So it will be the role of the R&D cell in the coming days to link all these, so that, say, there is an innovation in the innovation center that has been patented, but the IPR cell do not know that there is a patent that has been filed. So this coordination is required, and R&D cell will help in this coordination. Next is to develop an institutional research information system, RIS. So this will be to share the status of the project, the expertise, resources, and the use of ICTs and database to provide industries and contents consultancy and services. Let me tell you one thing, very simple. Most of you must be having account in Samarth platform. Now, this was objective of ANRF. Samarth was good enough that they have developed the RPMS, Research Project Management System. So once your university implements Samarth portal, in the Samarth portal itself, there is a RPMS, Research Portal Management system. So everything from purchase to payment to provide supply order, everything you can do using RPMS. So this was the objective of ANRF also. To engage and utilize the services of a superannuated active faculty member in research capacity building of talented young mind and promote mobility of researcher across institution and RDs. As I earlier said, say you are a person who has retired from Indian Institute of Science, and you live in Sambhaji Nagar, and you are still active, you are still good in health. The university can talk to you, and then they can write to ANRF through professorship call. And that retired professor, who was a very active and renowned professor of ISC or IIT, they can work in that particular university, and they can help the young talent to build, to grow. They can also help to develop research facilities They can help to give research direction, as well as they can help connect those people from the universities to the policymakers, because that person is already very renowned. So they can help connect you with direct people who are responsible people in government and in policy taking decision. Such type of services will be very useful for small universities and colleges. They also promote mobility of researchers across institutions. So if researchers want to spend 1 month, 2 month, 3 month at IIT Delhi at certain good lab, you can apply for certain funds from ANRF and go to IIT Delhi, find a suitable lab, go there and learn, and then come back and establish the thing in your university. The next objective is to serve as a nodal center for ideation and conceptualization of research themes, organize workshop, ensuring the integrity and ethical practices, including clearance from bioethical committee wherever required, and so on and so forth. So all these 8 objectives are there for the research and development cell. And if you see all these 8 objectives very carefully, it has been designed in such a way that if an university, it implements all these objectives and try to work on these objectives, the research and development output of the university will definitely improve substantially. So how the R&D cell will work? What will be the governance? So an effective governance is required, mechanism is required, so that there is a functional autonomy, there is transparency, there is accountability, there is adaptability, and all this will strengthen the interlinkage to create a conducive research environment. So the higher education institution, they can promote the human elements, that is the staff, the faculties, the scholars, students. They can promote the logistic. Logistic means the land, buildings, and the facilities. Knowledge resources means research equipments, proper utilities, consumables, etc. And fund flow. All these can be promoted through a steady, proper, and effective governance. Governance means proper rules, proper norms, proper policies. So effective governance is required, rules, norms, and policies, and financial management, that is grants and funds. So dedicated leadership and administrative structure for research, which are led by experienced researchers, are important and essential for establishing an effective and robust R&D R&D governance in the higher education institute. So it is proposed, and now the universities are developing the cells in this way only, because these are the guidelines. The R&D cell will have a research advisory council, which will be headed by the vice chancellor or the principal or the director, or even the nominee as the apex body of the R&D cell. Then there will be a director of R&D cell who will be nominated by the vice chancellor, and he will be among the distinguished researcher from the university. He will head various committees to drive the governance of the R&D cell. So R&D cell is may form many committees to smoothen its function with respective committee members, which are nominated by the R&D cell and approved by the RAC, Research Advisory Council. So these are five organizational structures that five committee structures that has been proposed, suggested by the UGC for a specified function, but you can increase the university can increase the committees as per their requirement. So they have proposed that there should be a committee for finance and infrastructure, which will look after all the finance related thing, budget thing, purchase, consumable, payment, as well as infrastructure of that institute. There will be a committee which will be involved in research program, policy development, how research are going on, what policy should be developed in the coming years to increase the effectiveness of the R&D cell and the university. There will be a committee for collaboration and community services, collaboration, both national and international, as well as community services as a part of our societal responsibilities. There will be a committee for product development, for monitoring, and for commercialization. They will look after all these. There will be a committee for IPR, legal and ethical matter, that will look after the ethical regulation, the patents, the all these other things that exist once you develop a product or process. So these five committees has been proposed by the UGC, but it is also mentioned that based on the requirement, the number of committees can be increased according to the requirement of the HEIs. What will be the administration of this R&D cell? So the established organizational structure, that are different bodies or different authorities or different committees which have been formed. They will facilitate the planning, implementation, and monitoring of research activities in the HEIs. They will help formulate the rules, the regulation, and policy framework for utilizing the facilities as well as resources at the HEIs. They will develop a strategy to integrate multiple functional unit that can support institutional research under a single window operational system for effective administration. We don't have to go here and there and so on. We know this place single window that will help all our research related issues. So the activities of the R&D cell will be monitored. It is not without any monitoring. It will be monitored. It will be mentored by various committees for devising research models, for technology, for appraisal, foresight and review function, mediating the societal R&D progresses, as well as for IPR protection. It has been mentioned that the R&D cell should keep close contact with the innovation cell of the ministry. There is a ministry innovation cell, and that cell has established IICs, Institutional Innovation Cell, in all higher education institutes. They use various innovative plans to facilitate the researchers for better research performance. So now the research ecosystem or collaboration. A vibrant research ecosystem in higher educational institute will provide a thrust to sustainable research, development and innovation, and promote collaboration between government, universities, research institutions, and industries. The higher education institution needs to build a sustainable research ecosystem that will lead to consistent quality research outcome and increased research productivity. So to make R&D cell functionally viable, the HEIs that are relatively new or that are not well established, they are suggested that they should connect with R&D cell with established two HEIs with established R&D cell. So the new HEIs R&D cell, they can connect with established HEI R&D cell for their research and directions, and they can get mentorship from them. R&D cell will facilitate networking and collaborative research with other national and international institutions that are working in interdisciplinary research, in multidisciplinary research areas. The administrative structure at HEI, they can reach out to industries, to other research organization, to different institute or association, or certain NGOs if they can support some studies in social sciences, or even government bodies to form a strategic partnership. So this strategic partnership is important. They have to establish collaboration, teams, consortia, partnership, and combined ventures for joint research activities. This can be done through clustering institution to facilitate the exchange of students, scholar, as well as facility. So there is a need, because why this clustering and making consortia is important? Because one institute do not have everything. Say if you are working in chemical sciences or biological sciences, you may not have all the equipment and instrument that you require for certain project, but another institution which is nearby your place, they may have. So a development of consortia and partnership are important, and there is a need to strengthen this resource both within the university. We still have that stigma that we will not collaborate within the university, but we have to break those boundaries. And among universities, institute, funding agencies, industries, government, as well as corporate. So the RIMS, the Research Information Management System that I was talking about, which is present in Samarth as RPMS, Research Project Management System. It is for the benefit of students, for the benefits of scholars and all other teachers, researchers, and stakeholders. So it is proposed that, say now already, since RPMS is there, so the development is not needed, but we can see what actually happens in RPMS. This RPMS, it collects, manages research-oriented information, including databases, research project, publication, fellowship, collaboration, patent, thrust areas, innovation, everything. All the information will be there of the university in this RPMS. Say the R&D cell director is going to present update in Delhi. He can just click and get all the publication, project, fellowship, collaboration, patent, innovation, whatever is going on in the university, he will get in one document. This is also providing a platform for accessing resource-centric information related to human capital, that is expertise, what expertise we have. Physical capital, that is the state-of-the-art research laboratories and sophisticated instrument laboratories. And knowledge capital, that is digital libraries and information, the intellectual facilitation, the quantitative methods and data analysis, as well as certain consultancy services. So as per the third objective is, as per the requirement of various regulatory agencies, the researcher can modify, submit, and update their research compliances. Say right now, different funding agency will have different format for submission of project. They have different format for annual progress report. They have different program format for utilization certificate, statement of expenditure, manpower capital. So everything is different for different funding agencies. But after using this RPMS, there will be a single way or single model which will be in place for these all things. Even say training records, even how to keep a project record, the equipment list. So this RPMS, it provides a central and integrated database to manage research issues related to everything. Say related to radioactive safety approval clearances, to disposal of biological hazard or chemical hazard or radioactive hazards, to protective equipment measures, even to organize appropriate training, workshop, everything. Each achieve, the fourth one is the higher education institute. They are also creating, they have to create a blog or a portal for institutional research information and institutional repository, and sign an MOU with UGC InflibNet. Right now, we all have it, to always access and upload the research information through Shodh Ganga or Shodh Gangotri, Shodh Sindhu, Shodh Suddhi. Now there is Shodh Chakra also. There are different research, different repository where we can provide our research as well as thesis as well as publications. And so what will be the human resource and how will they work? The director, R&D, the conveners of different committees, and the member of different committees, and the supporting and administrative and technical staff, they would ensure the smooth conduct of research activities in HEIs. Now, what will happen? Load on the researchers as mentors or professor emeritus. They will help to build a reliable and resilient research ecosystem. The distinguished faculties or scientists, they can groom young faculties. They can help replenish the void which has been created by superannuated faculty and members. Now, research promotion and guidance. Now, this is important. It will take some time on this. So, the research promotion activities at the HEIs should be aligned with the mandates of various national missions, the SDGs, we know Sustainable Development Goals, Startup India, and ultimately leading to Atmanirbhar Bharat. The research guidance from the R&D cell will encourage the faculties to conceive ideas through increased industry academia interaction, and they will also help prepare research proposal for funding. The R&D cell will also help organizing events like capacity building programs, say research methodology or research techniques programs, and specific research theme-based workshop, research internship. This will motivate the students, the researchers, the faculties to actively participate in the development of idea in different research in emerging areas. So for this, what has to be done? The first thing that we need to do is to identify the research thrust of that particular institute and the clustered area. So the higher education institute should identify the thrust area of research based on the societal need, based on the availability of resources that the HEI has, including in-house human resources, the research competencies of the faculties, that is also important, and the support ecosystem. Based on all these thrust areas should be identified, and this would enable the HEIs to consider establishing a center of excellence in the particular identified contemporary area of research. Again, not all areas of research should be pursued by, they can be pursued, but they have to focus on certain areas of research. So research clusters and or regional research consortia should be formed by the R&D cell. This will bring all the researchers, faculties, students, and scholars for joint high-value project. This high-value project can be very interdisciplinary or transdisciplinary research project. And they can write using this certain national and international funding opportunities. So again, there is a call from ANRF, which is right now open, where they have called the PI from the social sciences background. He should form a group, not only from social sciences and humanities, but he should identify a problem of social sciences, which can also be addressed by the collaboration of people from science background. So the social science people, they have to write this project, they will be the PI, but there should be co-PIs from sciences who will help them in certain areas of their project. So now you can think, this is interdisciplinary project that they have called for. And for social sciences right now, for this project particularly, they have kept a capping of 25 crore per project. So these type of interdisciplinary research are now promoted by funding agencies. Shared infrastructure and expertise will also enable the cross-seeding of ideas. If there are people from social sciences, there are people from sciences, certain cross-seeding of ideas will increase, mobilization of resource will increase. And further, if we develop the regional research consortia consisting of different social science people from different universities and institutions, and different science people from universities and institutions, they will add a synergistic advantage in finding solutions in an interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary areas of research. These COEs, they can center of excellence, they can also serve as incubation center to transform innovative ideas into processes and product. Now again, this will be monitored by the R&D cell. The R&D cell will also provide an avenue for community talent with prior learning expertise to engage in research and innovation activities of the HEIs. Say, for example, you are doing research in social sciences. You are collecting certain data on certain villages about certain problem. The R&D cell can help identify certain students or certain talent from that particular or nearby village who has already experienced firsthand those particular issues, and they will help you in collecting the data, and they will help you in data after getting the data, they will help you in analyzing the data, and then accordingly the societal addressing. Very important that we always take very less seriously, but we have to give this important research incentive and recognition. Incentive play a significant role in triggering and catalyzing research interest among scholars and faculties. So if you incentivize, say, quality publications, quality patents, student and faculties will have an enduring positive impact. They will work hard. Now, one motto of R&D cell has been given to this, that an institutional award of excellence should be formed for accomplishment in the form of impactful quality research or research-based teaching. Teaching is good, but certain teachers, they add the flavor of research in teaching. They will, such type of awards will further stimulate the R&D and innovation activities of the HEM. R&D cell should also develop a policy which should focus on identifying specific incentives for research faculties and develop a unique research career ladder. Now, UGC is still working on this particular thing for strengthening the mission research. So there has to be some guidelines from UGC for this, which they are working on. And I'm sure in some months they will come up with that. Technology development and business-centered facility. These all are coming under research promotion and guidance. So the technology development and business-centered facilities, they will serve as a hub for strategic partnership and collaboration. The industry institute interface, the sponsored or contract research, new knowledge generation, IPR and patent, venture capital, everything to facilitate. Overall, the thing will be, their aim is to facilitate innovation, incubation, entrepreneurship, and startup venture in universities. This culture we are lacking in universities. The innovation culture we are lacking. Newton, when the apple fell from the tree, Newton said that there is gravity. That's why apple fell from tree. And in India, most of the time, what we did was, we sat under the orange tree, and when the orange fell from the tree, we said there is gravity. So there is without no innovation or very less innovation. So the objective of R&D cell will be to facilitate innovation, incubation, the culture of entrepreneurship and startup in the universities ecosystem. Finance, the most important thing. everything on research depend on this. So the R&D cell can facilitate resource mobilization. They are expected to create a corpus for R&D from government, from industry, from other funding agencies, from channelizing the CSR funds, the corporate social responsibility funds, funds from alumni, and these funds can sustain and further the research activities, the good research activities that is going on. Many times, new faculties, when they join in universities, they don't get any fund to start their research. It is a mandate of R&D cell that after developing such a corpus, some small amount of fund should be given to the new faculties to establish or to at least start their lab for the first couple of years by the time they will write for certain grants. Apart from creating the corpus fund for R&D, the R&D cell can explore venture capitalists and angel investors for funding in research and innovation. Find them out. You are doing good research. R&D cell will find out angel investors for your research. R&D cell should also liaise with funding agencies and track funding opportunities, not only from funding agencies, but also from industrial consortia. Many times what happened that the calls for project is out, but you do not know. People do not know, the researcher do not know, and the call comes and goes off, and you have no idea that from this funding agency also we can get fund. So it is the job of R&D cell to look after and share information about all the funding calls that are being floated by different funding agencies. And when I say different funding agencies, that do not only mean DST, DBT, ICSSR, and ICMR and all. It include the other funding agencies or other cells like IKS cell, the Indian Knowledge System cell in Delhi. It gives certain grants for certain things. AICTs, it gives certain grants for certain things. Even industries also like to fund sometimes. So they have to look for that. So this corpus is very important, and this corpus will help seed research for freshly recruited faculties for developing their research facilities. So the HEIs should make a provision for research in their annual budget, subject to availability of fund. Again, I am saying that because many times HEIs, they do not have funds. So better thing is the R&D cell should look to develop corpus from the various sectors that I said, so that the new faculties as well as certain established faculties, if they are doing very good research, their research should not be stopped because of the lack of fund. A very important point, research integrity and ethics, regular initiatives by the R&D cell. This will ensure that researchers, they understand the importance of integrity and research ethics in research and comply with ethical research codes, paper publishing practices at the institutional, national, as well as global level. As a part of understanding, UGC has already established two credit course for PhD students. During their pre-PhD coursework, they have to complete that 2 credit course on integrity and ethics. Then only they can complete their research. Standard plagiarism check has already been made mandatory. Required software has been made accessible. In libraries, these software Drillbit, earlier it was Urkund, now Drillbit is there, Authenticate is there, Turnitin is there, many softwares are there which are available for researchers. Just for a reminder, when we check for plagiarism, not only the text similarity that is important, image now plagiarism is going on. There are certain mischievous people, they use someone else's figure or their own figure in new paper. So now there are new softwares like Proofig, Proofig. They have been developed to identify image manipulation as well as self-plagiarism. In addition, the R&D cell should organize workshop and small seminars to sensitize the research communities about dubious research, about dubious publishing practices, about predatory journals which are floating around in India and China in a huge number. If you have heard of recent data, a large number of predatory journal has evolved in the last 6, 7, 8 years in India. And these journals have compromised not only the quality of research in India, but they have raised eyebrows in the people of West, that a large fraction of Indian people are publishing in predatory journals. Capacity building is a very important aspect of R&D cell. R&D cell is expected to play a crucial role in building the capacity of faculty and student to undertake research problems which are in line with the latest advances in different disciplines, to push the boundaries of knowledge. They have to do publish good publications and technological development, because this will only pave the way for the HEIs to attract more research grant, improve accreditation ranking, and enhance its brand image. An institute, a university will get more funds and better rank and better image. All these, if any of you are working with NIRF ranking in your institute, you know how branding is important. If certain number of marks are given for branding of institution, accreditation ranking is important. Getting more better grant will only be possible when you are conducting good research. Regular events such as certain refresher courses, workshop, training, internship, group discussion, seminar, conferences may also be organized for capacity building. So these refresher courses that right now you are doing from MMTTC, that is fine. That is very important for learning these. But what I am talking in perception with the perspective of R&D cell, research related refresher courses, research related workshop, training on, say, manuscript writing, or perspective of an editor of a journal. So R&D cell may organize one lecture on where they can call the editor of certain journal from Elsevier or Springer, some good journal, and then that person can talk about what editor wants. When you submit a research, what is the perspective of editor of that journal about a particular research, how he thinks about, how he processes your article, how he identifies the reviewers, how he reads the reviewers' comment, what makes him to take a positive or a negative decision. Such type of training should be done, and they should be organized by the R&D cell. R&D cell would help create central R&D facilities with the provision of training and internship. Say, in your university, you have a good confocal microscope. The R&D cell can organize one workshop where they can call from nearby region, regional research consortia, different students, and teach them how to use that confocal microscope. What is the importance of that? Now, similarly, another R&D cell in your regional research consortia has a very good fluorescence spectrophotometer. They can organize another training program where from your institute, people can go, students can go and learn. And this is how training, internship, and mentorship will help student grow in research. Most important part is monitoring, jawabdehi, which we lack. The current research policy in India, they encourage the R&Ds, the HEIs to be responsible as well as accountable. Very important word, accountable. For R&D and innovation activities, by creating infrastructure or generating resources or promoting business or facilitating policy framework so that the culture of quality research is maintained in the institute. If there is no accountability, government is giving funds, R&D cell is giving you fund, but then you have to answer, be answerable for that fund. Among the standard function of the R&D cell, that the HEIs, they need to monitor and oversee the research progress. They need to coordinate program. They need to manage and facilitate optimizing resources. They should timely review research activities for completion of project as scheduled. Say, for example, you have got a project for 3 years, and I will take 5 more minutes, and then we will complete this. Next session, we will continue after a small bit of gap, but this lecture will take 5-7 more minutes. So I am seeing the watch. So please bother with me. So right now the problem is that once you have got a project for 3 years, the first 6 months will go in purchasing chemicals, purchasing equipments, or recruiting research personnel. After that, the work will start, and slowly, sometimes what happened in 3 years, you are not able to complete the project. So R&D cell will make sure that things happen fast. You should not take 6 months time to hire a personnel, but it should happen within 2 months, maybe. And that you complete the project within the mentioned period of time by evaluating your project, say at every 6 months or every 1 year, your project update. So HEIs also need to formulate and adhere to specific quality benchmark for research to meet global standards, international standards. They should conduct SWOT analysis, the strength, weakness, opportunity, and challenges analysis, or even internal evaluation of research papers, and then suggest Scopus indexed, Web of Science, whatever, for appropriate publication. Now UGC CARE has been scrapped. There are many journals in Scopus also, which are predatory journal, which has somehow entered. Now, many universities, what they are doing is, their R&D cell itself is making a benchmark and listing journals which will be recognized, which will be of high quality, and which will be considered in their institute. So the R&D cell of the HEIs must also ensure that research lab in the institution, they fulfill the norms of GLP, the good laboratory practices, and safety measures. They should be recognized as QIP centers and by NABL, the National Accreditation Board of Laboratories. So all these things the R&D cell has to look after. So to conclude this particular first topic, the role of R&D cell, as you have seen, is huge. If I practically tell you, almost 1/3 of the university work will be on the R&D cell if implemented properly. R&D cell will help in lot many things that we discussed, but objective will be to collaborate, to see the ethics and integrity of the research being done, to optimize finance situation of the research, find out passion for excellence in the university and the passionate researchers in the university that can perform world-class research. The research should be people-centric. We are getting public money, so research should be based on our national need, our regional need, our state need, our society need. So overall, the research should be people-centered. And very importantly, there should be accountability for this. Then only we can sustain things and we can develop institute in a sustainable manner, in a way that we can develop institute of international quality. So this is all about my first presentation. I suggest that we should have question after the second presentation. That will be better, or whatever the organizer suggests. Over to you, Dr. Rafe.
Yes, sir. Hello?
So what is the idea now? Take a small break
Yes,
for
sir.
5-10 minutes, or should
Ye-
we continue?
Yes. No, sir. Take a break, sir.
Okay, so 10 minutes break,
Yes, sir.
and then
It's
we will
okay.
continue, and after that, we will have the question answer session together in the end.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, so please let me know when everyone is there. I will start.
Hello, sir. Everyone is there in the meeting, sir. You can start.
Is there, no? Should I start?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, just a second. Let me open my slides.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So again, welcome everyone. So the second lecture is on the internationalization of higher education or cross-border education, which is an increasingly important theme in India's higher education landscape. So in today's world, the higher education is no longer confined to local or national boundaries. The students, the teachers, the researchers, they move freely across countries. They exchange their ideas. Institutions are increasingly evaluated nowadays on global parameters. We will discuss that. India, with its ancient traditions of universities like Nalanda and Takshashila, has always been a center of global learning. Briefly, I heard when the earlier speaker was they were concluding the lecture. So today we face both opportunity as well as challenges. How? On one hand, over 1 million of Indian students, they are studying abroad. But on the other hand, we host only a fraction of foreign students here in India. So there is an imbalance. And this shows that there is an urgent need to build India as a global study destination. So over the next an hour and 15 minutes, we will discuss the guidelines, how international of higher education, why it is important, how it happens, its connection with the NEP 2020, the strategies which are available to us, starting from internationalization at home to training programs, and from brand building to alumni engagement. We will discuss all this, and ultimately our goal is to make Indian higher education globally competitive, at the same time nurturing students who are global citizens rooted in Indian values. So by the end of this lecture, you should be able to understand both the opportunities and challenges of making our institution globally relevant. Let us begin with a brief introduction to why internationalization is so crucial today. Higher education is deeply connected with global changes that include the economic, political, social, and technological changes. The internationalization of higher education essentially means integrating a global dimension into teaching, research, learning, and service. It allows the student to gain exposure to diverse perspectives, to engage with peers from across culture, and to prepare for careers that are increasingly international in scope. For India, this is not just about prestige or just about ranking. It is about ensuring that our youth are competitive in the global marketplace. It is about promoting innovation through collaboration. And it is about projecting our strength, such as our culture, scientific capacity, and affordability of education to the world stage. The UGC guidelines came for higher education came in 2021. And NEP 2020, they framed this effort of internationalization within a national strategy. They encourage institutions to embrace diversity, to build network, and most importantly, to see internationalization not as an option, but a necessity for quality and sustainability. So truly understand internationalization, let us quickly take a historical concept. International mobility of student and scholar is not new in India. Ancient India was home of some of the world's greatest universities, from like Takshila, which was established in the 5th century BC, and Nalanda, which was established in 5th century Sarka, Takshashila, Nalanda, Vikramshila, and so on. These centers attracted thousands of students from Asia and beyond who came to study subjects which range from philosophy to grammar to medicine to astronomy to mathematics at that time. Almost 1500 to 2500 years before. This shows us that India was once a global hub of knowledge exchange. In modern times, globalization has revived this spirit, but with new directions. Since the 1980s, the student global mobility has exponentially grown. Millions of students now cross border for higher education. India itself sends lakhs of students abroad every year. But comparatively, very few students come to India. This imbalance highlights the need to give us new energy to our institution to improve quality benchmark and provide facilities that appeal to international learners that they should come here.
Excuse me, sir.
So what? Yeah.
Sir, your screen is not visible, sir. Screen sharing
My
is
screen?
not done, sir. Not visible, sir.
Oh, okay. Just give me a second.
Ha, sir.
I'm really sorry. Can you see the screen now?
Yes, sir. Now it is visible, sir.
Okay, so I completed the introduction slide.
Yes, sir.
And the Takshila slide. These two slides I just completed. And this slide I was there. Okay. So I
Yes,
do not need to repeat this slide. Okay. So what is the current scenario? So let us now look at the present landscape of student mobility in India. According to the Ministry of External Affairs, over 10 lakh Indian students were studying in abroad in 2020. They were pursuing higher education in many countries, including US, UK, Canada, Australia, in many European countries, and even in Asian countries also many students were studying. This shows the strong demand for international exposure among Indian students. However, if we look at the inbound mobility, the numbers are very modest. The report of ASH is All India Survey on Higher Education, AISHE. They report that only around 49,000 foreign students are studying in Indian institutions. So can you imagine 20 times more Indians are going out than which is coming to India? So clearly there is a mismatch. While India is contributing heavily to global student mobility, it is not yet perceived as a major study destination by the international students. So the NEP has addressed this gap. UGC has given guidelines to address this gap. These guidelines, they propose measure to attract more international students, to strengthen collaboration and build the reputation of Indian institutions globally. And if implemented well, these strategies can make India a preferred hub for both the domestic learner as well as the foreign learner. Now, this will balance the flow of talent and knowledge. So the national education policy sets the foundation for higher education reforms and positions internationalization as a core priority of work. NEP emphasizes 5 pillars, as you all know: the access, equity, quality, affordability, and accountability, all of which intersect with global engagement. The policy envisions India as a global study destination that offers high quality and affordable education that can attract students from across the world. The affordability is very important. If you go to US, the annual fees that many of you might be knowing is much more than what Indian students used to pay in India. This can revive its role as Vishguru. A key concept here is internationalization at homes, which means making or creating global experiences for students, for Indian students, without necessarily leaving India. So this involves a curriculum redesign, the collaboration with international faculty, and providing diverse cultural experiences inside the campus. So NEP also encourages faculty and student mobility, credit transfer. All of you know that. I'll not go into the detail. Research partnership with with international institutions. Most importantly, it stresses the need to nurture the learners as global citizens who are not only skilled professionals, but are also aware of global issues such as sustainability, human rights, and international cooperation. So through this NEP 2020, India has signaled a strong commitment to reconnect with its heritage as a knowledge hub, while also meeting modern global expectations. So the UGC's guidelines for internationalization, which is framed in line with the NEP 2020, has clearly set 5 major objectives. These are the 5 objectives which I have listed. First, they aim to make India an attractive study destination for foreign students. This means not only providing academic excellence to foreign students, but also offering safe environment, inclusive environment, and affordable environment for them. Second, the guidelines seek to promote international competencies in both faculty and students. Now, this includes exposure to global pedagogies, research methods, and cross-cultural communication skills. The third goal is to develop a global mindset. So the graduate should be able to function effectively in an interconnected world, while at the same time retaining a strong pride in their Indian identity. Fourth, the guidelines encourage building linkages between Indian and foreign institutions, promoting joint programs, collaborations, and exchanges. And finally, a key objective is to improve the position of India in global ranking. Since internationalization indicators often remain weak for Indian HEIs. If you see the Times Higher Education ranking or QS ranking, very few number of Indian institutes really come to top 500 in the global ranking. These objectives will provide a roadmap that can elevate Indian higher education into the global top tier if it is very systematically and properly implemented. So, to achieve these objectives, the guidelines proposed a set of strategic initiatives. These are 8 initiatives that cover all directions and dimensions of higher education. So they have made 8 areas of focus. We will discuss one by one all areas in detail, but in quickly, the first area, internationalization of at home, which integrates global perspective into curricula, pedagogy, and student life. The second is credit recognition under twinning agreements, where a student can study partly in India and partly abroad, and the credits are recognized mutually. The third is global citizenship approach. This aims to instill universal values and global awareness among learners. Fourth is the ICT-based internationalization, which leverages digital technologies to expand global reach through online courses, MOOCs, virtual collaboration, etc. Fifth is academic and research collaboration. This is to promote joint research, faculty exchange, student exchange, international partnership, and so on. Sixth is the brand building, which emphasizes marketing Indian higher educations globally, including through offshore campuses and cultural events. So Indian campus can be established elsewhere. IIT has recently developed campus in IIT Delhi in Dubai. Seventh is Alumni Connect, which recognizes alumni as a powerful global ambassadors. Finally, the 8th strategy calls for establishing the Office for International Affairs in every higher education institute. This will serve as a single window to coordinate all these efforts. So these 8 effort strategies together form the backbone of the internationalization journey of Indian higher education. Let us now see each of these strategies. Perhaps the most transformative strategy is internationalization at home. Not only student will have the chance to study abroad, but every student should benefit from a globally enriched learning environment within Indian campuses. So this approach integrates global perspective into teaching, curriculum, and student experiences. It includes inviting foreign faculties to collaborate, incorporate international case studies and example into courses, and encourage joint classroom project from across country. So there is also highlight on the importance of offering short-term courses, niche courses on yoga, Ayurveda, Indian philosophy, Sanskrit, cultural studies. Now, all this can attract international learners, while the domestic learners, students, pride in their heritage, because we already do that. The residential facilities and on-campus support system will also be designed to make international students feel more welcome, feel more safe. Initiatives such as faculty mentors or like student buddy systems and local community engagement, they can help build cultural bridges. So offering bridge courses, including local languages, further support smooth integration. So in short, internationalization at homes will ensure that global learning is not limited to a few privileged one, but becomes a standard part of every student higher education journey in India. The next important initiative is twinning and credit recognition. Under this arrangement, students are enrolled in an Indian higher education institution, but they can complete part of their program at a partner education abroad. The degree, however, will be awarded only by the Indian institution. Now, this model is significant because it combines the strength of both systems. Student will gain exposure to international teaching and learning method, cultural experience and network without entirely leaving their Indian base. Partly they will go outside. Importantly, the credit that they will earn at the foreign institution, they are formally recognized in India and will be reflected in their transcript, which will ensure academic continuity. Such programs can make the graduate more employable, because right now many of we are producing graduates. They want employment, but we need to think, are they really employable? So employers value global exposure and adaptability now. So such programs will help graduate become more employable. They will also encourage institutions to raise their quality standard to align with international benchmark. There are also safeguards. Programs must not jeopardize Indian interest. The program must avoid overlap course content. Say, you cannot study the same thing here, same course here, same course there. This is not permitted. And the program must comply with UGC Act and ordinances and provisions, whatever are there. So this twinning arrangement will serve as a bridge between India and the world. And it will offer a student the best of both environment while strengthening the institutional collaboration. Internationalization is not only about mobility or travel or ranking. It is about developing global citizens. What is global citizen? A global citizen is someone who is aware of and understand the wider world. He respects diversity and actively contributes to building a more equal, and more sustainable planet. So the UGC guidelines, they propose a global citizenship approach for Indian Higher Education Institute. This means integrating values in a student. What type of values? Such as empathy, interdependence, pluralism, and social responsibility into the education curricula. So such students are expected to engage with community service, in environmental projects and societal initiatives that link local issues with global concern. Credit-based courses in sustainability, ethics, or value-based education, they can nurture this type of mindset. Say small workshop or short courses on topics such as constitutional values, or respect for diversity, or scientific temperament. This will further reinforce these ideals. So beyond values, global citizenship also requires certain skills like critical thinking skills, cross-cultural communication, adaptability, and technological fluency. These all are required. So by integrating the knowledge, values, as well as skills, the higher education institution can prepare graduates who are not only competent, not only professional, but also compassionate leaders in a complex globalized scenario. In the 21st century, no discussion on internationalization is complete without acknowledging the role of information and communication technology, that is ICT. ICT enables us to overcome geographical barriers and create borderless education system. Through online platform, Indian education systems, education institutions, they can reach to international learners without them setting foot on Indian campus. There are many MOOC courses available in, say, Harvard, and where Indian students enroll and they do that. Why we cannot bring those such type of MOOC courses and digital courses into Indian institution, and that can attract thousands of students globally because of the low cost, and it will promote both access and equity. So ICT also makes it easier to streamline admission for foreign student, conduct virtual partnership, host online courses, webinars, conferences, etc. So this is very important. Students can engage in virtual mobility. Virtual mobility means attending courses or collaborating on projects or even conducting joint research remotely with peers abroad. So they will be here, but in virtual mobility, they will be working with them. This is especially important and especially useful when travel is limited, as we saw during the COVID, as well as for many students who cannot afford going there and learning there and studying there. Moreover, ICT strengthens the internal system. The data analytics can track the need of student. We can get feedback. We can develop integrated digital platform that can enhance learning. We can develop collaborative tools that can make teaching more interactive. And through this ICT, the Indian higher educational institutions, they can internationalize at a very large scale. And they can ensure that global exposure is no longer privilege only for a few, but is accessible for all. So Indians can also study there as well as they can also study in India through virtual mobility. Another pillar of internationalization is academic and research collaboration. Many of the today's challenges, such as say climate change, food security, energy, global health, these are all global in nature, international in nature, and they require collective solution, not solution only by one country. Collaboration among universities across border will help pool knowledge, pool resources, pool expertise. Say for students, such collaboration may take the form of exchange program or say semester-based program or joint research internship. For faculties, it means engaging in international projects, co-authoring research papers, or teaching even in short-term programs abroad. And for institution, they can also organize joint workshops, seminars, conferences with global partners and institutions. A particularly effective approach is the creation of strategic research partnership where institutions build long-term relationship which is focused on innovation and societal impact. One more important suggestion is to establish chairs abroad in Indian scholars. Right now, in IITs, particularly, I know that there are many chair professorships. It's like with the name of certain big scientists or something. There are different chairs. So why not chairs abroad in the names of Indian scholars? Why cannot we have a Shushruth chair of surgery in Harvard Medical School? Why we cannot have a Ramanujan chair in the or Ramanujan chair of mathematics in Imperial College London, and so on. So this will help India to project India's intellectual heritage in the name of eminent Indian scholars and philosophers, while at the same time strengthening international academic ties. Importantly, these collaborations are not one way, they should be mutually beneficial. So they should contribute to institutional growth, they should help improve quality of research, and they should address pressing global research needs. So in essence, research and academic partnership are the heart of truly international higher education ecosystem. So brand, very important, as I said earlier, for India to become a true global education hub, our institution must actively engage in brand building abroad. Reputation matters, it matters greatly in the decision making of international students. Many students, they choose US or UK or Australia or Germany because these countries have established strong global brands for their universities. If you remember, try to remember good universities and institute, you will get names of these institutes only. Oxford, Harvard, Massachusetts, MIT, Max Planck, Germany, Imperial College, so many good institutions. All these are in very good. They have built a brand. Indian Higher Education Institute need to follow a similar step by creating visibility and trust worldwide. Now, this cannot be achieved like only advertisement. This can be achieved through systematic performance, certain marketing campaigns, use of digital and social media. Very importantly, participation in international educational fairs. So there are in India, there are institutions of eminence, IITs, IIC, they are there. They are already permitted to set up offshore campuses. So as I said earlier, IIT Delhi has recently opened campus in Dubai. Now this can expand our footprint and credibility. People there will see our institution. And our credibility can increase. In addition to this, scholarship is another powerful tool. They also make studying in India attractive and accessible. So when you go to US or you get good amount of fellowship, scholarships. But in India, the amount of scholarship is still bigger. So that has to be increased. In addition, cultural events, seminar, presentation, even in target countries can showcase India's strength from affordable education to unique cultural heritage. A large chunk of foreign students who come to India, they come from African countries, they come from Southeast Asia, say come from Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, Laos, and Burma. So there, such type of fairs should be increased. The alumni which are living abroad can also act as ambassadors. They can promote their alma mater. So overall, by building this strong and consistent global brand, Indian higher education institutions can attract quality students. They can improve partnerships and enhance their global partnership ranking and reputation. Okay. How this alumni can help? The seventh initiative of the guidelines, alumni are one of the greatest untapped resources for internationalization. Graduates, whether they are graduate Indian students or the foreign student who came to India and studied, they become lifelong representative of their institution. When they succeed globally, they build credibility. They attract attention to their alma mater, to their institution. So there is a need to create a culture of alumni connect. The institutions are now planning to maintain detailed alumni databases, especially of those who are living abroad, and actively engage with them. Don't leave them. Connect with them. Share information, updates. And these information can be newsletters, can be sometimes virtual networking events. Sometimes ask them to mentor or invite alumni to participate in some webinars, if not physical conferences and seminars. Distinguished alumni who are there, they can be honored and recognized as role models. They can be given honored from their institution. Importantly, alumni can also contribute not only financially, but also through knowledge sharing. Say, you must be knowing many IITs have many departments and schools and centers which are completely funded by their alumni. Say IIT Delhi, there is a Kusuma School of Biosciences. Similarly, in IIT Bombay, there is Mehta School. These were alumni, they have produced, they have contributed financially to the development of that school or center. But other than that, they can also share their knowledge, internship, they can support internship for student. Say there is a student in your institute, he wants to do some internship. There you have an alumni who is at particular institute in abroad. If they are connected, he will be happy to host that student for a couple of months or 3 months for internship. So such type of internship collaborations in research and industry projects are important. So the alumni network in foreign country will be very important in brand building. They will be important in student recruitment and establishing global linkages. And by using them, Indian Higher Education Institute, they can build a strong, a sustainable and a credible presence of the international higher education scape. So in short, alumni are not just past student, they are future brand ambassadors. Now, how these all things will happen? To operationalize all these strategies, it is recommended that every institute should establish an office for international affairs. This office will act as a single point of contact for all matters related to internationalization. For foreign students, it will provide support from the admission process to campus life. So starting from visas to registration, to accommodation, to cultural adaptation, to even grievance redressal. For everything, Office of International Affairs will work. It will ensure that international students should feel welcome in India. They should feel safe, and they should automatically be integrated into the academic and social environment of the institution. So for the institution, this office will coordinate collaboration with foreign universities. They will manage the training exchange programs or such type of student exchanges. They can also organize the promotional activities abroad. They will maintain data of international students. They will maintain data of alumni. They will monitor the implementation of institutional strategies that have been developed for internationalization. They will ensure compliance with government and regulatory requirement. So essentially, the Office of International Affairs, it will serve as a backbone for global engagement, for everything, to make process seamless, make process professional. This Office of International Affairs will work. Because without such effort, without such an office, all the effort will remain fragmented. This is a one single window point of contact for all matters. Without this, the internationalization will become structured, proper, it will become accountable, and it will become impactful. So every serious higher education institute that is aspiring for global relevance must focus on this institutional mechanism of developing the Office for International Affairs. And that to a very strong one if they want to show their global presence. Okay. Finally, let us look at the broader role of the HEI. So now we discussed what the Office of International Affairs will do, what will the HEIs will do, higher educational issue. While the government is providing a policy framework, the real responsibility is with HEIs. Why? Because they have to design and implement these strategies for internationalization. So the higher education institute has to formulate, in fact, must formulate clear objectives aligned with the NEP 2020 and consider the cultural and academic context of both India as well as the partner country. They should actively involve all the stakeholders, the government bodies, the industry partners, the alumni, the international organizations which are partners, to make strategy, to make practical strategy and impactful strategy. So establishing an Office of International Affairs is a critical step, but equally important is the continuous communication with the stakeholders and monitoring, transparent monitoring of the outcomes from that. So institution must track indicators, have to keep some indicators, performance indicators, like student and faculty mobility, global partnership, and international ranking to assess this progress. The benefits of international for higher education institutes are immense. They will enrich curricula, faculty and students will get great exposure. Stronger research collaboration will improve. Accordingly, the research publication, partnership, patents will improve. Moreover, the global branding will improve. So ultimately, higher education institute that embrace internationalization will not only advance their own standing, but they will also contribute to the India's emergence as a global educational leader. Very important point, monitoring. Again, monitoring, assessment, accountability. These are terms which looks very simple, but they have the most important and critical effect on any idea and policy that is being implemented. So a critical part of internationalization is monitoring and essential. It is not just enough to launch initiative. We must measure the impact and ensure the accountability. So there is a recommendation for developing key performance indicators, KPIs, to track the progress. So now these will include certain metrics, such as number of international students that are enrolled every year, number of partnerships that has been signed, number of joint research projects completed, not just like ongoing, completed. You have to show that it is completed and the objectives have been achieved, and the global ranking that is achieved. So institution has to prepare annual reports and collect student feedback, especially from student and faculty who are engaged in mobility and collaborative platform programs. So transparent feedback loops are important. That will help to identify the challenges, the bottlenecks, and to adapt accordingly. Importantly, the assessment of internationalization will be integrated into the NIRF and NAC frameworks, and they will be slowly synchronized with global partners like US and THE benchmarks. Now, this will ensure that internationalization is not treated as an add-on, something extra, but is a core component of institute quality. So regular evaluation studies, periodic interaction with the stakeholders, and the use of technology-based data and dashboard will further strengthen this process. In short, what gets measured gets improved. If you are measuring something, then only that thing will improve. जवाबदेही होगी तभी चीज सुधरेगी. And systematically monitoring will ensure that Indian HEIs move steadily towards global benchmarks. Why should the institute invest time and resources for internationalization? Why we should do? The benefits are both immediate as well as long-term. First, it enriches curriculum and pedagogy. Exposure to global perspective may make teaching more relevant, more innovative. And second, it provides students international exposure, which will enhance the employability and adaptability. Additionally, it will fuel research and innovation by linking Indian scholars with global network so they can tackle complex major challenges collaboratively. So maybe that complex problem may not be addressed only by certain institute in India, but in collaboration with institute abroad, they can be resolved. And the fourth one is it will enhance institutional branding. A strong global presence improves visibility, ranking, and reputation. Now, what will happen? Which will attract better student and faculty. Internationalization will also create diversity of in campus. It will promote intercultural understanding. It will also strengthen India's soft power worldwide. And ultimately, the benefit flow is not only for institution, but it is for society and the nation as a whole. So once we position India as a global educational hub, we open door for cultural exchange, economic growth, how we can forget it, and knowledge leadership. So there are large number of benefits that will happen upon internationalization. Now, to conclude with, as we conclude, let us reflect on one single message. Internationalization is no longer an option. It is essential. It is necessity. The world is interconnected, and higher education student must be prepared to be global citizens. India has the proud tradition of knowledge creation, starting from Nalanda and Takshila, which served as ancient global learning centers. Today, we stand at a similar turning point. The policy NEP 2020 has provided and UGC have provided a clear roadmap for transforming our institution into globally recognized educational hubs. Through initiatives like internationalization of homes that we discussed, twinning arrangement, research collaboration, alumni network, brand building, all these can help Indian higher education institute to significantly raise their global standing. At the same time, we must ensure that internationalization is rooted in Indian culture and Indian values. It should create graduates who are globally competent, at the same time proud of their cultural heritage. So using these strategies, Indian higher education can not only improve its ranking and reputation, but will also contribute meaningfully to address global challenges. So the ultimate aim is to nurture global citizens with Indian roots who strengthen both our nation as well as world. So we have now covered the major aspect of internationalization, history, NEP framework, UGC objectives, the strategy initiative and benefits. At this point, I would like to thank the organizers for giving me opportunity to speak and deliver this talk, and open the floor for questions, reflections, and discussions. Thank you, everyone. Over to you, Dr. Afe.
Participants, if you have any questions or queries, you can ask the sir.
Yes, so we had 2 sessions. Now we can have, we have 15 minutes time. We can have both questions for both the sessions, whatever you want to ask. Yes, any questions, comments, suggestions, queries, reflections, thoughts, discussions, ideas? If you want, you can write on the chat box also.
If you don't have any questions, anyone of the participants, then we will go for the vote of thanks.
Okay, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University, Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar, I take this opportunity to extend heartfelt gratitude to Professor Timir Tripathi for his insightful lecture on transforming the higher education landscape in India. Sir, your valuable thoughts on innovation, quality enhancement, inclusivity, and the role of technology in higher education have truly enlightened us. Your example and deep analysis will definitely inspire and to rethink and reshape our own approaches in this field. Also, thanks to director of this center, Dr. Rafe sir, and coordinator of this refresher course, Dr. Amol sir, and to all the participants. I once again extend my sincere thanks to you, Professor Tripathi, for gracing this session and sharing your invaluable knowledge. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you so
much,
much,
sir.
organizers.
Thank you very much.
I will leave the session now. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
मॅडम दुपारचं सेशन मूक आहे वाटतं, मूकचे
हो
लेक्चर
मॅडम.
आहे.
हो हो हो.
ओके.
ओके मॅडम.
समरी मराठीत चालेल ना?
समरी हिंदी किंवा इंग्लिश मधून द्या म्हणून सांगितले.
ओके ओके ओके. थँक्यू.
हा मॅडम. ओके हा मॅडम.